So I wanted to jump on here really quick and talk about how not to yell at your child. And I want to say that it is really difficult to, once you get angry, it's very difficult to stop getting angry. So for me, the more important thing is not how not to yell, but how to get you as the parent to a place where you don't get angry. And so one of the main things in the Toddler Code that I teach and what last week's live was about is how to is understanding that children want to do the right thing, that nature created it, that evolution has evolved us too, or if you believe in God, that God made it this way, that actually humans want to do the right thing. And so that is still one of the things you're going to hear me talking about over and over. You is actually changing your expectations to understand that your toddlers actually want to do what you, the parent, or our society wants them to do. They want to be on the same team. So the important thing is that we as parents get on the same team with our children. So as I just said, the first step is to know that your children want to do the right thing. And that just right away takes away a lot of the feelings of animosity, of the desire for conflict. So if anything, your attitude is like, oh, you poor thing, you don't get it, or you too little, or you're too immature, or you're not grown up enough. And just to realize that they actually are not trying to push our buttons. They weren't born to become toddlers that set I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but metaphorically speaking, the house on fire. They are actually meant to be our little happy helpers, and they are basically learning how to be adults. So here's another point. If they're learning how to be adults, what does it look like if we begin to yell at them? So what are we teaching them? So we're actually teaching, and they are little radars. They pick up everything. We're teaching them basically how to get angry and how to yell and how to be impatient. So still, what to do? What to do when your child is doing a behavior that is really harmful in some way, that may be hitting, biting, throwing, yelling, not doing what they're supposed to, creating havoc or chaos in some way. And so what I want to say is that action speaks louder than words. One of the keys of the Toddler Code is do not repeat yourself. And another key would be not to plead, not to placate. So where does those three things that I just mentioned, where do they lead to? So, not repeating yourself. And on the flip side of that is not placating and not giving in either. So not getting angry and not giving in. You're going to hear me talk about this over and over too. So what do? Well, we take action, but the action is before we get angry. One of the reasons we're getting so angry is because we keep saying, now don't do that. Now stop. Now stop hitting your brother. Now come away. Now, and finally, it's actually completely normal. And my intention is never to make any parent feel bad about themselves. Any parent that is in my Toddler Code group, I automatically know is one of the best parents that there is. And I know that because they want the best for their kids, and they're willing to realize that they could learn more, or they don't know everything. So those are the best parents. And I'm here to alleviate your guilt and bad feelings and your difficult situations. But at the same time, we need to see that we are helping create the problem. And what my teacher taught me is sometimes it's the nicest of parents can create the angriest children. And that is because they're pushing us to stand firm. So when I talk about action, I'm talking about being calm and confident and clear and gentle, reclaiming your authority. So they're doing a behavior that isn't appropriate, and you don't repeat yourself over and over again and then get yourself all kind of riled up and into an angry situation because you're not being heard, you're not being respected. So you might just gently take action. You might remove them from the room, for instance, but it's without anger. And so that's why what I teach, and in my coaching practice, we can deal with more specifics with your family. But we teach the ways that we can get the behavior we need without getting angry and without giving in. And once again, the best way I could say it without knowing the details of your what exactly you're dealing with and your exact family is we as the adults regain our calm confidence and our gentle authority. We become guides to the children. We don't I guess you'd say, stoop to their level. Instead, we stay on the higher ground. And yes, that's hard to stay on higher ground. We all know that. But it's easier with children because we're bigger, stronger, faster, smarter, older, everything. So there are ways that we can, as parents, get, and over I see this in my coaching practice, there are simple ways that we can take action without, quote unquote, keeping the sticky ball rolling, or even making that sticky ball worse by yelling, and then they yell and it just gets crazy. All right, so I hope this is helpful. I'd like pretty soon, probably next week, to have someone jump on live with me and ask me some actual questions, because that's where I, as a coach, really work well with responding to actual situations. But today it didn't turn out to be a live, it turned out to be a video, and I hope you find this helpful. Thank you so much for watching.